It is a late summer afternoon and the warmth of the day is slowly giving way to the coolness of the evening. This wayside rest on Highway 16 near the Wisconsin Dells is home to the Kingsley Bend Indian Mounds, a group of conical, linear, and effigy mounds built centuries ago.
The mounds in this area here were really constructed during the mound building period primarily, which was in a time period of 1,000 to 1,300 years ago. The mound group really consists of conical mounds that are circular mounds, traditional burial mounds. And then there's effigy mounds here. There's quadrupeds or bear mounds that are here. There's also a water spirit mound, or some people call them a panther mound. And there is across the road from here, there is also a mound in here. Actually, it's two mounds in there, bird mounds. So that's your sky clan. Some of the earliest mounds that are found in the upper Midwest area are called red ochre mounds. They're burial mounds where red ochre was actually utilized in the burial of people. And those mounds date back to 500 BC. So those would be the earliest mounds here in this area of what is now the upper Midwest, or here in the state of Wisconsin. When you take a look at these mounds, the impact of them visually are astounding. But I think what really is important to understand is what they mean and why they're here. The people that constructed these mounds in the past had a real understanding of their relationship to the earth.
As we walked among the mounds, there was a sense that this was a solemn place. The silence was occasionally broken by the sound of a passing vehicle. The linear and conical mounds were obvious, less so were the effigy mounds.
I went up on top of that hill there, and when I came here, I looked over all the places. Before I start looking around, I said a little prayer, because I figured some of the people that were here, that probably was relatives of mine, my ancestors. Then I start walking and went around and see how many mounds there were here. And one of my grandfathers told me, when you see one of the mounds, he says, it's just not, it's a mound there, but he says there's people concerned with that mound. That's how come it's built that way.
These are sacred sites. I would argue this is holy ground. Understand, those are our people that are here. The Smithsonian came through the upper Midwest in the late 1800s, and they did a survey. And in that survey, they were able to verify and map over 10,000 mounds. If you go back on those maps and surveys, the original ones, there are probably 1,000 left from that original survey.
There were originally 30 mounds in the Kingsley Mound group, but only 20 remain today. Since 2006, the site has been owned and maintained by the Ho-Chunk Nation.
Some of the mounds, near the mounds, if they weren't so high, that they got plowed under by farmers and stuff. And I think that's going on, had been going on for quite a while before anybody ever paid attention to any mounds and stuff like that. So that's the only thing that kind of bothered me.
Imagine people coming to this area, non-natives, having no understanding or certainly no respect for the mounds, and they plowed on it and they planted on it. And worse than that, even as late as the 1880s through about 1915, people would take Sunday after church, take their picnics, their picnic baskets, their food. They would go to a mound group and proceed to dig into it to see what they could find. And that was their entertainment for Sunday afternoon. So we as people today need to understand we have a responsibility to caretake for this. And the Ho-Chunk Nation has taken upon themselves that responsibility specifically for this site here at Kingsley Bend.